So the other day, someone was asking me what some of my favorite ingredients in fragrances are, whether it's a note, a chord, whatever, a raw material. And I had to think about it. I could obviously do the easy answers like amberwood, vanilla, tonka, cinnamon, pink pepper. Those are some of my favorite notes out there. But there are two that always have stuck out above all else for me. And I've mentioned it before, plum and ginger. Plum, unless you're in a high-end niche, like Sense of Wood, plum and cognac, the plum is usually going to be mixed in, or some kind of indie fragrance. But today, what I wanted to talk about, because I have a lot of these fragrances in my collection, whether they contain this note or they are kind of rolled by that note, and that's the main theme of the fragrance. But today I'm going to be talking about 5 of my favorite fragrances in my collection that have the note of ginger as being the centerfold of the fragrance. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, let's get it. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Again, my name is Randy, aka FragranceDoud. Thank you guys so much for joining me again. If you haven't already, hit the like, put it on the algorithm, show it who's boss so that we can get on more people's pages. And then if you haven't, subscribe and hit the bell. So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite fragrance notes, ingredients, raw materials, whatever you want to call it, and that is ginger. There are really 2 styles of ginger. There's obviously different blends and whatever, but 2 different styles. There is the warmer and spicier ginger. That's more for the fall and winter style fragrances. And then there's your fresh or your pickled ginger, which is kind of like on the side of a sushi dish, which you'll find, and I'm getting my nose onto more of these fragrances as they come out, but there's not that many out there. I love fresh ginger, and I love warm and spicy ginger. And so I think as of 2022, when I really started getting into ginger because of 2 of the fragrances I'm going to talk about here, I started going through and realizing how many fragrances that I'm really a big fan of that may not be necessarily encompassed by the note of fragrance of ginger, but ginger does play a role in each fragrance. For instance, one of the biggest lines out there, YSL Y, with YSL Y Live having the most ginger, most of the fragrances in that line are ginger. They also obviously have the clary sage and the apple or whatever it might be, but ginger has played a role in this fragrance as well as Bleu De Chanel. Bleu De Chanel Eau de Toilette has the most, and which is why it's the brightest of the 3, but it is in the 3 fragrances. And then we have the entire line of Valentino Born in Roma, which I also love, which this one has the most. It's still a blend of ginger, so it's not like a main note of ginger, which is why I kept it down to these fragrances here. These 5 are going to be the ones that have the most ginger in them, including, and what spawned this list, again, was not only the 2 fragrances that came out last year that I was obsessed with, but also the one that just released by Goldfield and Banks this year. That will also be on this list. But first, I want to go and do my runners-up. There's a reason I didn't put these in the list. One's discontinued, and the other one I think is discontinued, but you can still find it every once in a while. So the first one is the only one that I really love from this line. I've never been a fan of LNDL. I've never been a fan of L'HOMME. This is L'HOMME Ultime. I got this decant from Mo, so thank you, Mo. This is the one that is the most, obviously the L'HOMME line is ginger heavy. This one, to me, has the most uniqueness of the entire line. It's going to be that ginger, the rose. It is fresh, it is clean, but you can wear it in pretty much any season. It's going to be one that you can wear dressed up or dressed down. You can wear it business casual, or you can wear it to a wedding. It's a really versatile fragrance that smells fantastic, and again, it uses the note of ginger in it, I feel, better than any of the other fragrances in that line. And then it blends together. Even though I don't really love rose as a note, the way that it's blended together, it comes off so beautiful. If you haven't tried it, try to get a decant or a bottle for a good price. That is L'HOMME Ultime, one of the first runners up. And the second runner up, I already ran out of my decant. I'm trying to find a bottle for a good price. It is Givenchy Gentleman Casual Chic. It is very much compared, at least for me, to one of the fragrances in this list, Lacoste Blanc Eau Fraiche. because it has this pickled ginger note. And then it also has a bit of citrus, but it's not as citric. It's not as bright. So it's not exactly like that. But if you do like Lacoste Blanc Fraiche, I definitely recommend you if you can find it. It was just on Joma Shop a few weeks ago. Givenchy Gentleman Casual Chic, or Givenchy Gentleman Only Casual Chic, is a great fragrance for the spring, summer, and fall that you can definitely sense the fresh ginger in there. It's crisp, it's clean, it's great. I wore it about 20 times. Wore it through my decant in about 2 months. It's great. So with that, we'll segue into the other fragrance that is finally on this list. We're not doing them in any order here, but this is another one that has the fresh ginger, and then we'll get into the warm ginger ones. So this is Lacoste Blanc Fraiche. As you can tell, I like the fragrance. So this is, again, encompassed or surrounded, and in full, probably 75% of the fragrance is pickled ginger. Again, I say that it's that thing that's on the side of the dish of sushi, those little green or orange squares or whatever they are. Technically, that's correct, but I hate those, and I don't even like the smell that much, but you would have to take that and mix it in. It's a crisp sharpness. It has freshness to it as well, and a little bit of spice. Mix that together with a nice citrus opening, some brightness, like almost like an ambroxan woodiness as well, and then you mix that together with a green tinge that surrounds the entire fragrance. I always say it's like walking through the woods on a windy day and smelling a bowl of lemons. It's crisp, it's clean, it is fantastic, and the pickled ginger really takes over the entire fragrance, and it is fantastic. I didn't know really what pickled ginger smelled like in fragrances until I smelled this. It's still, I always say, it's very hard to describe. You just have to check it out for yourself if you haven't. I need to get a new bottle soon because it's very hard to come by right now for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if they're like short stocked or what, but that's Lacoste Blanc Fraiche. Going into the next one. So the next one is going to get us started into the warm and spicy ginger. This one came out a long time ago, and it's still my favorite from the line. Some people might say the EDP or Luminous Night, but for me, it's the Eau de Toilette, Dolce & Gabbana, the one. I've always liked this because I like calming sweet fragrances like tobacco and tonka bean. This one is known for amber and tobacco, but it also has a ginger note. There is a 3 main note portion, and while out of this list, this is going to have the least amount of ginger, it's still a probably 30 or 33% difference. It has 33% ginger, 33% amber, 33% tobacco, and then it starts to blend in and then add some more things like a little bit of spice and whatnot. But the ginger in this is a little bit warm, a little bit spicy. It also has a slight freshness to it where it can be worn pretty much all year round. I love how calming this fragrance is. If you like your amber and tobacco, it's not a heavy tobacco or like a tobacco vanille or anything like that. It just adds a slight bit of tobacco mixed together with that amber and then the ginger. It's a fantastic fragrance. It doesn't last that long. It's about 4 hours, but it is what it is. I still love the fragrance. I love wearing it in the mornings. Great fragrance, Dolce & Gabbana, the one, Eau de Toilette. Going into the next one. So this one is a brand new fragrance that came out, and I told you it's what spawned this video. It is probably the most ginger heavy, and yes, I have not tried Eau de Gingembre. I don't know who makes that, but I've heard people talk about it, and I will get my nose on that at some point in time. I'm just diving into ginger more and more now. I've only really got a lot of designers right now, except for this one. I have a full bottle on the way. I got this decant because one of my subscribers told me about it, and I had to try it. It is by Goldfield and Banks. It is called Ingenious Ginger. I almost forgot the name. I just did a first impression of it the other day. If you want to check it out, I have a full review coming out. But Ingenious Ginger by Goldfield and Banks is so much ginger, but I got the idea to pick that up, not only from my subscriber, but I also heard from Justin Copeland and his girlfriend or wife from Stay Fresh Productions. They were out at some kind of testing thing, and they were testing this as a brand new release. And they both said, wow, they bought it on the spot. Again, it's Goldfield and Banks Ingenious Ginger. He said it perfectly. It's like a lemon pound cake with spice, and then you pour ginger beer over it, which is kind of just like an alcoholic ginger ale. in a nutshell. But it really feels like that. It is a warm and spicy, but semi-gourmand fragrance that has a nice sweet backbone to it that just is absolutely delectable. There is some citrus in this fragrance and a slight floral tinge, but for the most part, it is obviously, it's called Eau Gingembre, or no, wrong fragrance. Ingenious Ginger, because it's ginger. It's mainly ginger. It almost has this kind of effervescent, almost soda-like feel, which is why ginger beer is a perfect explanation of it. It's like fizzy, mixed together with like a lemon pound cake, because there is that ginger that gives a warm and spicy, almost gourmand feeling mixed together with that lemon. As you get to the dry down, I think that's my favorite part of the fragrance, even though the whole fragrance is fantastic. It's going to be more of a fall and winter fragrance, but it also brings a slight bit of freshness where I feel like it's like Most Wanted, where it's a fresh gourmand that you can wear almost all year round. Ingenious Ginger is one that you guys should definitely get your nose on. You can find decants of it if you want to, if you don't want to spend the $170 price, but I think it's definitely worth it. I have a full bottle coming so that all fall and winter I can wear it, and it's a great scent. My wife absolutely loves it. Again, right now I just have this decant, but it's just about gone. So I wish I had more of it right now because I would wear it today because it is a cooler day outside, but it is what it is. Ingenious Ginger, you guys need to pick that up. And it's weird because it starts out and it's a lighter, almost intimate fragrance for the first like 10 minutes. But it's one of those fragrances that as it sits on your skin, as it dries, it actually picks up in performance, picks up in projection to above average for the next like 5 hours, and then it sits on your skin for about 8. I got about 8 hours on the fragrance, and I think it's fantastic. Ingenious Ginger by Goldfield and Banks, you got to try it out. Now going into a cheapie. This is one that you can actually buy with, if you catch it at the right time, just go on their website and then look up the 2-pack of this in navy black, and you put those together for $25, and they're both 4.2 ounces. This is Zara's Warm Black. So this is, if you took ginger and then put it over top of tobacco vanille. That is what this fragrance smells like. It is tobacco, vanilla, and a lot of ginger. It's just, that's what it is. That's what the fragrance really is. It's tobacco, spice, warmth, an ambery backbone, and then vanilla. It legit smells like tobacco vanille with ginger. I don't really have anything else to say about it because that's what the fragrance smells like. Obviously, it's not going to be as high end because based on price with navy black, you're to divide it by 2, you're getting it for $12. This fragrance is almost, that's why it sells out all the time. Both the single bottle and the double pack with navy black. Navy black's still good. It's a good fragrance. It's just not as good as this one for the price. But people get clones and all that all the time. Guys, this is a full bottle of Zara for $12, and it smells like one of the best fragrances that people absolutely love, tobacco vanille, mixed with, again, a warm and spicy ginger encompassing the fragrance. There's nothing else to say about it. The performance is kind of lackluster. It's about 5 hours, but I don't really care. Zara's Warm Black is fantastic. I love it. I've always liked it. That's why I actually sold my bottle of tobacco vanille, because I don't really need it. I have Herod. If I want that moist style tobacco. I have a decant of tobacco vanille if I ever want to wear it, but this one, it gets me close enough that I don't really care. Going into the last one. So this one came out last year and it really threw me into ginger. I love this fragrance. I love this line. You guys know it is Most Wanted Parfum. I mean, come on, that came out last year. That and this. That should tell you these are in like 2 of my top 10 fragrances. Most Wanted Parfum. It takes that kind of gourmand fresh version from the year before that, the original Most Wanted with the cardamom, toffee, whatnot, and it makes it heavier, denser, more longer lasting, even though the original Most Wanted, I get about 8 to 10 hours out of. This one can be a full day, especially on your clothes. It is bourbon vanilla based with a ginger over top of it and some woods. That is the only 3 notes that they give you, and that's really all you really need to know from the fragrance. It has that gourmandish backbone, like the original, so that I wouldn't be surprised if there was maybe a little bit of toffee or something like that in this. But for the most part, it is Warm and spicy ginger over top of a nice bourbon vanilla that even pulls up more as you get into the dry down. And then you get a little bit of this warm, kind of sweet and sensual woods. Then you mix together. This is one of my favorite fall and winter fragrances. I mean, Most Wanted, Wanted by Night, and Most Wanted Parfum are fantastic. When this came out last year, I was blown away, and I still am. I still love the bottle, and I need to get another one. But fantastic. If you guys are looking for a fall and winter fragrance that has a sweetness to it, it's a mass appealer. Women do love it. Most Wanted Parfum definitely does it for you. So those are my 5. If you guys want to know about ginger, those are some good ones. Again, they're in Bleu De Chanel. They're in YSL. There's ginger in almost every major brand out there. They use ginger because ginger is a fantastic note. And again, you can use it as a fresh, like pickled ginger, which comes off more zingy, zesty, and like sharp. Or you can do it in a warm and spicy way, which I would really like to see behind the scenes how perfumers do that. If there's a certain type of ginger that comes off more warm and spicy, or if it's the way that they mix it. I don't know. I'm very interested in that. I have no idea. If anybody knows, let me know in the chat. But great ginger fragrances. I'm going to try more, let you guys know more. I want to dive more in because, again, it is becoming my favorite fragrance note over top of plum. So thank you guys so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Peace out.